Welcome to the California garden in the month of December. The weather is cool, the sky is shining, and it's another great month for gardening. So sit back and enjoy as we go over the garden tour, what's growing in the California garden this month, some harvests we made, and things to do in your garden this month. So let's begin with the garden tour. The first bed has some radish plants growing, and next to that we have some spinach, which are small plants still. And then we have our onions. These onions are growing pretty well so far. Moving on to our side bed, we have some cabbage plants. These are early maturing cabbages. And next to that we have some kale that's growing in the side bed. And this bed has the gypsy broccoli variety, and that's growing pretty well. And the hyacinth beans are loaded with beans. There are a lot of beans on this plant, and we harvested a lot of hyacinth beans this month. As you can see here, lots and lots of beans on this plant, and this is probably one of the fastest growing beans that I've ever planted. Moving on to the next bed, we have our sweet potato plants, and this is a neglected bed still. I still have to do something about this bed. Now this is what happens when you grow radish, a lot of radish plants in one container. You grow it for the greens. These plants are not going to produce a lot of roots. If you want larger roots, space them out. And moving on to the next bed, we have some more onion plants, and this is the cauliflower plant, the purple cauliflower. I'll show you that soon. And some more cabbage plants growing in this bed. And finally we have our eggplants bed. Now this bed had both peppers and eggplants, and now only the eggplants stay. Peppers have been removed, and these eggplants have been doing well. I'm planning to overwinter them, see how it goes. And so far they seem to be doing okay even in the December cold weather. Now let's look at some plants that are growing in our garden. We have cilantro. We eat a lot of cilantro, and this is a cool season crop, and it's growing pretty well. I've used a very wide container this season to plant cilantro, and as you can see, it's been doing well so far. And we have our purple cauliflower growing. As you can see here, beautiful looking cauliflower. Started producing head earlier this month, and the purple head looks very beautiful. The purple color depicts a lot of anthocyanins in the cauliflower plant, and this means it has a lot of more vitamins and minerals when you eat the cauliflower compared to the white variety, which we also have growing this month. It's a cold season vegetable, and cauliflower is something you must grow. The Dancy Tangerines are loaded with a lot of fruits this year, and we had a lot of Dancy Tangerines harvested last year as well. So all in all, I really like this tangerine variety. The harvested fruits are very delicious, very sweet, and one variety that I can definitely recommend for you. We have one tomato plant growing. This is the only tomato plant we have, and it still has a lot of tomatoes even in December. Now let's look at some of the harvests we made this month. Avocados. Our gem avocados were harvested this month, continuing from our last month's harvest. This wasn't a very great year for avocados, but as you can see here, beautiful looking avocados. The gem avocado is one delicious avocado variety and also produces these large avocados. So from October through February is the avocado harvest season. And once again, you can see here, this avocado is pretty good looking, pretty large, and an excellent variety to grow in your garden. Our purple cauliflower produced a beautiful head in December. As you can see here, beautiful looking cauliflower. And we planted this cauliflower both in containers as well as in raised beds. This one is growing in a container, and the container is not really large. It's just a square container, about 5 to 7 gallons of soil in this container, and it produced a beautiful head. Eggplants. We still had some eggplants harvest in December, from each of the sources we planted, the container, the raised beds, which had pretty large eggplants growing already. We were able to harvest some more from our whiskey barrel container as well. Guavas. Our Mexican guava tree is loaded with fruits, and December is a great month to harvest the guavas. As you can see here, beautiful looking guavas, quite big in size. And these Mexican guavas are not very sweet. So if you like guavas that are not very sweet, you will like this guava variety. It's a great variety to grow. And if you like the sweeter variety, we also had the Arabian guavas, which are sweeter, but it all depends on what kind of varieties you like. All are really good varieties. Here you can see both the Mexican guava as well as the Arabian guava and some tangerines that we harvested in the month of December. And we also harvested some Washington Navel oranges from our orange tree this month. The hyacinth beans did produce very heavily this month as well. And if you have been following my videos, you must have seen that this is a great producer. We have been harvesting beans from this plant for the last 3 months or so, and it still keeps producing. It produced a lot of these beans, these flat beans that are absolutely delicious, and I wasn't really expecting this plant to grow so large, but it did grow very large and it produces a lot of beans which we could harvest and use. Moving on to kohlrabi, we were able to harvest our purple kohlrabis that were growing in the container. We harvested some last month and then we harvested some this month. And as you can see here, beautiful looking kohlrabi loaded with vitamins and minerals. These are the radish plants we were growing in the whiskey barrel container. You can see here the roots are pretty well formed and nice month to harvest radish. So in the winter season, you will be growing and harvesting all these kind of cool season crops like leafy greens, radish, and this radish is the white icicle variety of radish. Beautiful looking radish, as you can see here, easy to grow and matures quickly. Now let's look at the things to do in your garden this month. There's not much you can do in your garden in December, but test your seeds for viability. If you've seen my video from the previous month, I had given a tip about checking seed viability, and here we have some passiflora seeds which are very hard to germinate. This plant produces beautiful flowers. If you're interested in seeing a video on this, drop in a comment below. I'll try to see if I can make a video on this, and let me know if you're growing this plant in your garden as well. And by just using a simple paper towel and putting your seeds in it, putting it in a Ziploc container, a sealed container, and keeping it on the shelf, you can test for seed viability. And once the seeds germinate within about 10 to 15 days, you can transplant them into containers or plant them in the ground as you wish. So it's a great way to test seed viability and start your seeds as well. So there we have it, folks. That was our episode on the California garden in the month of December. From everyone here at California Gardening, we wish you a Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year. We'll see you again soon. Happy gardening.